Howdy, howdy. And to the pre-show. Before the free show.
Pickle, are you good with money?
Yes.
Do you think... That was a very confident response.
Yes, I'm very good with money. I know that for a fact.
Is it the glasses?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, like, what makes you say that? I'm not... first of all, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know.
No, I am
I'm
a
asking
very...
you what you think...
My parents were always big penny pinchers, like in any possible way we can, so I guess it's just always been in my brain that that's how you handle your money, and it's... Yeah, I can confidently say, like, I don't go out and buy stuff that I don't need.
Do you have a checkbook?
No, I mean, I have a budget. I don't have, like, an actual...
No, I know that.
Yes,
but, like,
but yes.
Do you have... if you needed to write me a check right now, could you write me a check?
No, I do not have a checkbook.
You don't have a checkbook? Because I was thinking about this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I think... So, my dad's a banker.
Okay.
And so, yes, we are also very much, I think, from the same vein of understanding the value of money and not being frivolous with it. I'm a saver. My wife is also the daughter of a banker. Yeah. So, like... And my brother-in-law he works in a bank. I think he's auditing some kind of like audits banks. Anyway, that's not here or there. I'm surrounded by financial people.
Yes.
I don't understand finances at all. Well, that's not true. I understand a little bit of finance.
You understand normal people finances. We don't need to understand much more.
I think I have financial literacy. That's the way to put it.
There we go.
But there was something I thought about this week, and that is there is a number of forms of money that I just don't understand. Now, part of it is because I think they're antiquated. Yeah. But, for example, Pickle, explain to me what a cashier's check is.
Yeah, I will say that.
Pickle, explain to me what a money order is. Yeah. Pickle, explain to me... And this was always one growing up that I was like, "Oh, that sounds very fancy." Do you ever hear the phrase of traveler's checks?
Yeah. Those are old things.
I have no idea what they are. None.
Right.
And I'm like I said, I think I'm pretty financially literate.
Right.
I have no idea how they... Like, I have a minor in economics. I have no idea what traveler's checks are or why you would use them or if they're even could I get them now? Yes. Yeah. I could?
I don't know about a traveler's check. I know about a money order and a...
I've had to get money orders.
Yeah, I was like, I've had to do a money order before, and I've had to do a cashier's check before.
So have I. I've had to bring, why did I have to do
But if you want me to put a definition to it...
Yeah. Because, I'm going to... I probably write 10... checks a year. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere between 8 and 10 checks a year. And it's just guys who work in cash and stuff like that. Right. And all that fun stuff. And they don't have the Venmos or the the Cash Apps or the PayPals or what have you. But I do write probably 10 checks a year. And I know I'm going to write one to the IRS here soon. So that's another one. But there were just that, I was thinking about that this week, that I consider myself somebody who knows a decent amount about how money works. And yet there are these forms of money that I'm just, nope, no idea. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like it's because you only need them for very specific things. Yes. And a lot of them are more business transaction things rather than personal money.
I had to bring a cashier's check when we bought a house. Yeah. And I think maybe you have to bring a cashier's check when you sign a lease.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of lease things end up going with money orders or cashier's checks or that. I think that's the only time I've had to do it is when I've rented things. Because I think,
and maybe I'm figuring this out as I go along, I think that those are prepaid. Those are already, for example... okay, if I were to write you a check, the money doesn't come out until you cash it. Yes. Right? I think with a cashier's check, it's you get this thing that is then worth the $40 or whatever.
Right. Step said the biggest difference between a cashier's
Yeah, he
check
works at a
and
bank.
money order is a cashier's check is drawn directly off a bank account. Both are guaranteed funds. So there you go.
Yes.
So there you're
They're
exactly
guaranteed
right.
funds.
The guaranteed funds,
Okay.
as in with if
Like
someone never cashes
can't-
the check that you write, then the money doesn't leave.
And I guess I'm figuring this out now. You can't bounce a cashier's check.
Exactly.
Because you're at the bank and you're getting it, and they're like, "Oh, let's make sure you have enough money, dum dum."
Yep, exactly.
And in order to get that.
Yeah,
okay.
it's not a hey, I'm gonna need you to tear up that check real fast, and I'm gonna figure this out afterwards.
Still have no idea how traveler's checks work. And here's another thing: people who spell checks with a Q.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah, Chequis. Oh yeah, Chequis.
That seems bougie and unnecessary.
Maybe I'm gonna start doing that.
Maybe. Do you think people
Is that
will
something that people respect me
will
more?
think that you know a lot more than you do
Yeah.
if you just if you sprinkle in a little Q in there?
I'm just gonna Can I write you a check? CHEQUE.
Maybe I need to start doing that on normal things, like
Oh,
just start sprinkling in like a Q or a Z, and it's silent.
It's fine.
You
No,
wouldn't understand.
It's fine. You just wouldn't understand. I'm from Lano, and that's how we do things in Lano. We spell check
with a Q. You wouldn't understand.
Anyway, thanks for tuning into this show. Send us traveler's checks. Become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. And pay with traveler's checks.
Do money orders so we know for a fact you can't take back the money that you just gave us.
Yeah. Okay, hit the theme expo. Let's go! Free money! Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, where we are checking our colors. The U. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, texasfootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at texasfootball.com or on Facebook, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good, is a bespectacled Duchess of the Dorks, it's Ashley Pickle.
Yeah, I guess I wore glasses for one day, and this went from a mediocre internet show to a
Real
bougie.
classy one. Okay. You guys have to give me a second because there's something I want to do. Okay.
Oh,
Dang it. Yeah.
now there's confetti.
That was so worth it.
Chandra. Darn it, we need a Chandra cam.
Yeah, we really did. Sorry, that was
You're picking up that confetti, by the way. I'm not doing that.
I don't know who did that. And there's no video evidence of who did that. Today is Monday, March 29th, 2021, the last Monday of March. 241 days till Thanksgiving, episode 1134. 1135. This is the Paul Wilmot episode. Paul Wilmot played in 3 games as a Texas Ranger in 1989. They were at the age of 30. They're the only 3 games he ever appeared in. He pitched 2.1 innings. He has a career ERA of 15.43. The pride of Des Moines Area Community College in Boone, Iowa.
Ooh.
Paul Wilmot.
Man, if that is not just like the most legendary episode we've ever had, I don't know what is.
On today's show, friends, we got headlines from across the state, including another big weekend of college football across the state of Texas, and a few other things, including a notable college football player who will miss spring practice. We'll get into that. And then back half the program, big-time guest. We're going to be joined by the head coach, the new head coach of the Brownsboro Bears, Coach Lance Connot, is going to Lance Connot. It's funny because I looked up how to
You
say it, and then I
did.
said it wrong the first time. Lance Connot is going to join us, the head coach of the Brownsboro Bears, going to join us, moving from a very successful run at Rivercrest to go take over the Bears. So we will talk with Coach Connot coming up here at the back half of the show, and I'll have to keep saying Coach Connor's name to make sure.
So we can practice.
Because here's the truth. Okay, this is how we do research on the show. Because I've written Coach Connor's name before, but it's one of those things.
Pronunciation is
a
different
phenomenon
sometimes.
on this show.
Yeah.
That and in my life that I write things a lot and then I never say them
out loud
until it's important that I say them out loud. And so I looked up Coach. And I was trying to look for like a video. Normally you can find like an interview with them and stuff like that.
And most of the time it's with like a super local sports reporter that like has a really good personal relationship with them.
First one I saw, they said his name was Connot, and I go, okay, well that's his name, Connot. But I was like, then I watched another one and they said Connot. I'm like, well, crap. So I had to find some other videos. Don't worry, it's Lance Connot will join us, the new head coach of the Brownsboro Bears, joining us here back half of the program. Do it first four through the door.
We sure do. It was Rob Hadaway, Brent Homan, Aaron Flynn, and Ryan Smiga. Welcome in, fellas.
Hello, friends. All right, Pickle. A bunch to get to today. Do you want to start? I'll give you an option. We're going to start with our headlines.
Okay.
Do you want to start with college football action or college football off the field stuff?
Let's go action.
Okay. Start with college football action.
Because that already happened.
So there is college football. There was college football this weekend, and this is going to stun you guys, but Mary Hardin-Baylor won the American Southwest Conference.
No way.
For the 16th,
has that ever happened before?
Well, yes, it has. 15 other times it's happened.
To be exact.
Pete Fredenberg's crew are champions of the American Southwest Conference again. They defeat Hardin-Simmons 23-15, a really good game. Hardin-Simmons had some stomach for the fight, and that's a big rivalry between them. But that was it
was our Dave Campbell's Texas football game of the week.
It certainly was. And, look, we expect Mary Hardin-Baylor to be a national title contender, and first things first is to win their conference. But Hardin-Simmons gave them everything they want, 23-15. The crew jumped out to an early lead in the first half. They dominated the first half. Hardin-Simmons made it real interesting late. But Kyle King was very sharp in this game. They did one thing that made this thing really interesting. Mary Hardin-Baylor in the fourth quarter, they're trying to close it out 23-15, and you're thinking, man, 23 points for Mary Hardin-Baylor. That's more than enough because their defense is so good. Well, then, not arguably, their best player, Jefferson Fritz, gets run for targeting. It is a borderline call. I'm not going to say it was the wrong call.
Right.
It's a borderline call, but Jefferson Fritz gets run from the game. Hardin-Simmons, a couple plays later, is in the end zone.
Especially borderline at that point in the game.
Right, exactly. So, ends up coming down, getting a little hairier than I think Mary Hardin-Baylor would have preferred. But in the end, they end up pulling out a 23-15 win to win the program's 16th American Southwest Conference title. I'm starting to think that Pete Fredenberg might know what he's doing. I'm thinking
that's a hot take Tuesday article waiting to happen.
Listen, you guys know I don't like to go, fly off the handle here.
This might be the hottest of takes.
But I think Pete Fredenberg might know what he's doing. So the Mary Hardin-Baylor crew are once again champions of the American Southwest Conference. Other action. How about UT Permian Basin?
Yeah.
UT Permian Basin takes down Midwestern State 22-21, and Corey Hogue wrote for TexasFootball.com and basically said, "Look, they're putting the whole conference on notice, Lone Star Conference on notice, and they were awfully impressive. They limited Midwestern State to just 303 yards total offense, which I know sounds like a lot, but is not by Midwestern State standards. But Justin Kerrigan, I'm telling you, he has been fantastic, and they in overtime they beat him 22-21. Midwestern State goes down, scores. They get the ball and end up scoring a touchdown and decide to go for two. And Kobe Robinson gets in for the game-winning 2-point conversion, and UT Permian Basin
5-0.
5-0.
That's insane.
And looking very, very good.
Yeah.
So
And that also means that Midwestern State is 1-2 on the season.
I know,
which is
not
something that you see often.
No, very strange.
Stings.
Very strange. And so congratulations to them. You can find other stuff on TexasFootball.com, including our DCTF helmet stickers, where we hand out some helmet stickers to some of the very best players in the state, including Cameron Ward, the quarterback at Incarnate Word, who was once again unbelievable, even in their loss to Nichols. This is very Incarnate Word. They lose 75-45 to Nichols, but he throws 39 of 65 for 470 yards and 6 touchdowns. He has been crazy. But yes.
Those are like Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week numbers right there.
And then East Texas Baptist, their win over Texas Lutheran, a freshman quarterback, Troy Yauman from Beaumont Westbrook, was really, really good for them. So go and check out the helmet stickers on TexasFootball.com, honoring some of the best small school athletes in the state of Texas that are playing right now.
Another thing, real fast to shout out, Ish and Shahan run the DCTF college football page on Twitter, and they're really doing a good job with that. So it's at
DCTF CFB.
CFB, yeah. Let's go check that out.
So check that out. Okay, now to off the field stuff. Pickle, where'd you go to college?
The University of North Texas in Denton, Texas.
Okay.
Go Mean Green.
Do you want to give us a call?
Caw!
Thank you. There was some question going into the offseason as to who was going to be the quarterback for North Texas moving forward. Right? Some big questions, and I think that it really came down to it came down to what you thought of two particular guys, Austin Awney and Jason Bean, guys who really more or less split time last year. I think
they couldn't really decide. It was rolling with the hot hand almost.
Yeah, more or less. Now there are other guys who are coming in, including Jace Reuter, the North Carolina transfer, who will be immediately eligible. So he adds an extra element to that too.
Yes.
Well, the North Texas quarterback situation began to sort itself out last week when it became known that Jason Bean is going to be transferring. He is transferring to Kansas to play for Coach Emmett Jones, who at least is the interim coach. And he will have 3 years of eligibility remaining as he transfers to Kansas.
That was a surprising move, I feel like.
Well, look,
kind of.
It's a little bit surprising, and I think people may look at this and be like, well, yeah, if you have an opportunity to go play for a Big 12 school, you go and take it. And they're not wrong, but Kansas is in such a bad way right now in a lot of, they're without a coach. God bless Coach Jones up there. We're big fans of him, but they're in a tough way right now. You don't know who their new head coach is going to be. You don't know who's going to be there. They just kicked off Quaydarius Davis.
Right.
He enters a very, as Shahan Jayaraja puts on TexasFootball.com, very murky situation there at Kansas. But look, he threw for 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns last year. He ran for a little bit. He's a quality player. He's a quality player. It remains to be seen exactly how he'll do up there at Kansas, because we just don't know what the situation is going to be. But now one would think that it then narrows down the quarterback situation there to Jace Reuter, who I would probably call the presumptive starter.
I can confirm. I went to the green and white scrimmage.
Let's go to our North Texas Insider.
So I actually went to take down some notes to hand over to Shahan for magazine stuff. And Ani was with first team.
Okay. Well.
So and he looked pretty good.
Okay.
So
we will see what happens, but
it's definitely. Obviously it was a scrimmage. Everyone's getting reps in and stuff, but I do know that Ani was. He was starting the drives and everything like that. So they might stick with what they got.
Who knows? But anyway, Jason Bean transferring to Kansas. And then one other note. This from a press conference, I guess a Zoom press conference that Jimbo Fisher had. He dropped this little nugget that Jalen Weidermeyer, the tight end for Texas A&M, and I believe, let me make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth here. I want to say he was their leading receiver last year. No, I'm sorry, Aeneas Smith was but he was their second. Aeneas Smith's a running back, so if you want to say that he was their leading receiver, then he didn't lead the team in receiving yards. But 506 yards, 6 touchdowns. He will miss spring ball this year after what they're calling a, quote, freak off-the-field accident, end quote. He apparently cut his hand and will miss spring ball because of it. It required surgery on a tendon.
Good Lord, that's painful.
So now they didn't go into details, and they don't owe us details or anything like that. But they will be without their, they're at least their most decorated receiving target right now.
Yeah, who desperately needs his hands.
Yeah, that tends to be important, I would say, for
a receiver
playing tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Jalen Weidermeyer is going to be there. And so Caleb Chapman's also sitting out while he's finishing while he's finishing up rehab. That is not surprising. I know he was injured late in the game, or late in the game against Florida and never returned. I think Caleb Chapman is, by all accounts, going to be ready for the season, but he's not going to be ready for spring. Damon Demas is dealing with a legal issue. We'll see where he ends up landing as far as that. And then the other thing is Devon Chan is only going to be a partial participant, not for any bad reason, but he's running track for A&M, and that was a big reason why. You go back to when he was being recruited for Fort Penn Marshall. Mm-hmm. One of the big reasons he went to A&M because they would say you can run track for us too. So he's running track, so he'll be a partial participant in their spring ball as well. But those are some news and notes from Texas A&M spring ball, and those are some news and notes, some headlines from across the state of Texas. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. I want to invite you to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. It's our subscription package. If you want the 2021 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football mailed to you before it hits newsstands, plus a year's worth of outstanding exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com. Become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. There's a low price point. You can see it there. I'm supposed to tell you to go subscribe. So go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in the new head coach of the Brownsboro Bears. We're joined by Coach Lance Connot. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great.
How are things in beautiful Brownsboro, Texas?
They're great today. Beautiful day out here.
Fantastic. I want to ask you about your move to Brownsboro. You've been at Rivercrest for the past 7 years, 7 very successful years there at Rivercrest. And you decide to make the move over to Brownsboro. I know that in the introductory press conference and all of the things like that, as you're getting approved by the board, everybody had a lot of nice things about why you were such a good fit for Brownsboro. I kind of want to take that question and flip it. Why was Brownsboro the right fit for you?
Just in this business, we're in it to have a positive impact on kids, and I knew that I wanted to do that on a larger level, going from the 2A to the 4A. Brownsboro really tugged at my heart through the interview process. I just fell in love with the administration and the interview committee, and it just really felt like the right fit. I loved it. It's still got that small town atmosphere, but it's a 4A school near the Tyler area.
You're staying out there in East Texas. Yeah, all of your experience has been out there in East Texas, and this is no different there at Brownsboro. I want to go back to your first job, where you take over. You're promoted to head coach at Detroit at the age of 24 back in 2011.
Yes.
When you looking back on that, there's a lot of most coaches don't get their first head coaching job at the age of 24. What did you learn from that experience? Which again, you had 2 very successful years there at Detroit. What did you learn from that first experience of being a head coach?
Just to be very humble, I was very blessed to have a lot of really good players, lots of really good athletes, and I had some assistant coaches that did a really great job helping me through the process. And, just how to be multiple, really how to grow an offense and grow a defense, and also just to how to coach different players in different ways and be able to kind of cater to the different personalities.
We're talking with Lance Connot, the new head coach of the Brownsboro Bears here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Coach, you were out there at Rivercrest, as I mentioned, for 7 really, really good years, including You took them to back-to-back district championships, their first outright district championships since all the way back in 1981, which I know how old you were when you got your first job. I know was before you were born. So I guess my question for you is you're entering a Brownsboro job that let's just say is in need of a jolt, a program that's in need of a little bit of kick in the rear. What was successful there at Rivercrest to bring them to those types of heights that you think you can carry with you over to Brownsboro?
I think just being able to cater to our kids and our players' talent level. I think, the attitude and the effort level has been really good here at Brownsboro. I just think that, it's time for a change schematically and just in the process of the everyday operations of how things are going. But that's what I'm here to do. Detroit and Rivercrest both being kind of what you would call a flip job. Brownsboro, I don't look at it as big of a flip job. There's been some really good years here, especially under Coach Settle. And, I just think that the opportunity is here to be successful.
Do you have a feeling yet? I know you. Well, I guess I'll ask this first. When you first talked with your guys and you first your new players there at Brownsboro and addressed them as head coach, what was your message to them? What did you tell your guys when it was the first time talking to them as Coach Connot?
The two things that we focus on the most is to control the things that you can control, and that's their attitude and their effort. Every day we're going to be presented with different types of events in our lives, but we get to control the response. We can't control those events, but we get to control our response, and if we will handle those things with positive attitude and great effort, then everything else will take care of itself.
Talking with Lance Connot out there in Brownsboro, Texas, here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. Okay, so then give us a feeling as to what Brownsboro fans can expect from their team. What is this squad? Do you have a feeling quite yet on what you guys are going to hang your hat on? What is this team going to be about?
I think it's going to look a lot similar to what we had going on there at Rivercrest. It's kind of the same situation is that we want to get those athletes back out, maybe some of those basketball kids, baseball kids that weren't necessarily in the program, and therefore adding a lot more of our athleticism to our program. We want to get the numbers up. We're hoping, with personnel the other day to have over 100 kids playing high school football. So that's our goal, just to be very multiple on offense. Being able to use different styles, running the football, spreading people out, taking advantage of what opposing defenses are going to give to us. And then defensively, I'll be bringing my dad in as our defensive coordinator and just playing a very sound defense where we keyed and we read and react to be able to give our kids the best chance to be successful on Friday nights.
Well, I guess you broached the subject, so I guess I'll just ask you about it, which is that you're out here plucking coaches from other jobs as Rick Connot's going to be your defensive coordinator, moving from Prairieland to take over there. He is your father, which means that you will theoretically be your dad's boss. So my question for you is, how much are you going to hold that over him? Because I've got to tell you, if I was my dad's boss, I would be insufferable.
Yeah, well, we've been together for 7 years there at Rivercrest, and it was a really special time in our lives that we were able to carpool back and forth to work together and get a lot of our practice plans and details done in the car rides there. We spent a lot of time together, and it's really a special dynamic. We get along really great. We work well with each other, and we're always kind of thinking on the same page as each other. There's not many times that we butt heads, and it's really a special opportunity to get to spend that time with your dad like that.
As far as this offseason is concerned, obviously the past year has been very trying for a lot of people and for everybody involved in football and beyond. You guys are entering now this offseason, with new voices in the room, new schemes to install. Overall, what are you looking to accomplish in this offseason, in this time right now, to get you guys ready for the fall?
We're really working hard to develop our explosiveness and our speed and agility. They've had a lot of really good success here in their powerlifting program, and we want to translate a lot of that to our quickness and our agility. And, starting after our district track meet, we'll start getting into some of our spring football during the period stuff. And then starting in May, we'll be in our 7-on-7 leagues and just trying to get them accustomed to being able to throw and catch the football a little bit more than what they have been.
And finally, Coach, I want to ask you. I mentioned off the top that your whole career has been out there in East Texas. You're a guy who's got your roots out there in East Texas. From your perspective, what is it about East Texas football that makes it different? What is it about that makes it special? When you're out there coaching it.
the kids are just great. They're really down to earth. Your good old East Texas country kids. They're bought into the systems here at our school. We don't have a whole lot of outside interaction with our kids in our school system, and so it's just really special that they truly do play for that logo that's on their chest every Friday night, and the whole town comes out and supports that school, and it's really special whenever you get some positivity going in the right direction, and you're able to get that program on the winning track. The whole town, the whole school system, it really comes together to make for a special Friday night atmosphere.
He's Lance Connot. He's the new head coach of the Brownsboro Bears. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and be nice to your dad. I don't know what your relationship with your dad is like. It sounds like it's really good, but I just got to tell you, as somebody who does have a dad and who would be so terrible to him if I was his boss, just be nice to him.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me on. It was an honor to speak.
All right, take care, Coach.
Thank you.
There he goes, Lance Connot, the head coach of the Brownsboro Bears, joining us here on Texas Football Today. 10 years as a head coach and 75-38 as a record. I mean, a real rising star here in the Texas high school football ranks.
It's the definition of 40 under 40 right there.
Yeah, and a guy who got his start early. And he took over that Detroit job there in 2011 at the age of 24. And I want to say, let me make sure I'm not putting my foot in my mouth. I know he had 2 really successful years, but right out of the bat, right out of the gate, they ended up having 3 years there: 7-4, 9-2, 6-6. I mean, really solid for a guy who takes over a job at 34 or I'm 24 rather. Really remarkable and a rising star there, getting a job, making that going to 4A there with Brownsboro and a team. He mentioned it. Brownsboro is a program that lately it hasn't necessarily been a sunshine and daffodils for the Bears. They haven't had a winning season since 2010, but that's when Coach John Settle, who's now at Sunnyvale, was there. But this is a program that's got some history. It's got some pedigree, and the talent's out there. When you go to these East Texas towns, it's not an issue of talent. It's a matter of kind of getting everybody and getting the breaks. The problem, one of the things, not problems, but one of the things he's going to be up against, and probably should ask him about it. But I mean, he's in a district with Van and Mejia and Canton, and then he's in a region with Pleasant Grove and Gilmer and and Sunnyvale. And I mean, he's a good region. So you got to earn it. You got to earn it every week. But this is a guy who, he turned Detroit into a winner, right?
He's a builder.
Yeah, he's a builder. He mentioned flip. That's kind of what he's doing, and he'll have an opportunity to do that there at Brownsboro.
And I think that the biggest thing that you could tell that instantly was when he said we have to be reasonable. Like, we have to address what we have. And I feel like that any program that really can start from the bottom like that and build up, any good builder like himself knows that you can't just take the scheme that you were using that was successful at the old school. You got to fit it to the talent you have.
Exactly. You got to help build that foundation. So we appreciate Coach Lance Connot for joining us here on Texas Football Today. And now we go to take 2. And now we go over. I wanted to get your glasses in there one more time. We go over to a bespectacle.
Okay.
God bless it. Here's pickle. Whatever.
I think I think that you focused so hard on getting Coach's last name right that it took all your brain power. I think
That's exactly
we
right.
can just call it. We're just good.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to new Brownsboro coach Lance Connot for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow. Texas Football Today.